Okay, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the I'm Not Lucky, I'm Blessed podcast, the show where we celebrate young entrepreneurs on their achievements, and then we inspire up-and-coming entrepreneurs on how to make profit using their passion. And as usual, I'm your host, Lucky the Most. Enjoy the show. Hey, guys, episode 116. And as usual, I have a special guest in the building with me. But before I introduce our special guest, guys, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, I want you to subscribe, follow us, like, and share with your friends. And as you already know, on this podcast, we believe that success leaves clue. And today we have someone, a special guest, all the way from the sales field with us. Before I introduce our guest, guys, sale has been something that personally for me, I have been very fascinated about with. However, when I was in college, I never paid attention to my sales classes. I never took it serious because I always like, why, what do I want to do with sales? Why sales? I want to be, I just want to be rich, wealthy, a personal trainer. I don't have to do sales. I don't need sales. Well, graduating now, I'm in the field and I realized that sales is like the number one thing every business needs. If you don't make sales, you're not gonna make money and you're not gonna grow. So sales is very important. And today we have a special guest that is gonna come sit with us and talk about sales. Our guest today is Mr. Marvin. Marvin is a sales manager all the way from Colombia. He graduated from school as a civil engineer, but later on along the line discovered his passion in sales. And today he's here to, talk to us about sales as much as he can. I met him through a friend and we just connected. And you all know me, I just couldn't hold myself, but invite him to the podcast. And he's excited to be here. And guys, let us learn from Marvin, his story of how he started from just a regular sales guy to a sales manager. You get right. It's an amazing story. So, guys, please tune in, listen, and enjoy. Marvin, how you doing, brother?
Hi, Lucky. Thank you so much for that very kind introduction. I'm very surprised. Do you have sales class? That's amazing. Like what? Like I mean, so lucky to have that in your curriculum. Amazing.
No, I love sales. Like this past few years or months, I've been reading a lot of books on sales. Because like I said, sales something that we people don't value enough, but the truth is that we sell ourselves almost every day in life. You get it, right? Your boyfriend, your girlfriend relationship, we sell ourselves. When you ask a girl out on a date, you're typically selling yourself out to her. You get it, right? That this is what I can offer in return for your service. You get it, right? We don't want to accept it, but that is just the simple truth. When you go for a job interview, you sit with your boss or whoever's going to hire you, you're selling yourself to him. So the
Yeah.
best way is to just be aware of it and see how we can improve ourselves and sell ourselves the right way. Does that make sense, Marvin?
Yeah, totally. And I
Yes.
can agree more with you because that was exactly what I felt.
Yeah.
I never have any sales experience in my life.
Yeah.
Actually, the way how I got into it, or the first approach to sales, it was through my girlfriend's dad. He's a sales person too, also top salesperson, working
Yeah.
with the biggest like CEOs, all the different big companies. And I realized that when he started like talking to me and like teaching me some little tips about sales without me having any background out of that time, I arrived to London. I was visiting them and trying to look for a job there as a civil engineer.
Yeah.
And then guess what? 2 weeks after, the pandemic hit, and I was in lockdown with my girlfriend's family for 9 months.
Wow,
Uh,
that's a long time.
I know, it's crazy.
Ooh.
So it was a good time to learn about sales, about different cultures. As a Colombian person,
Yeah.
first time in the UK, it was a big culture shock. Also, my English skills improve. I have to learn or let it flow a little bit more of my humor.
Yeah.
And then that was the first time I was like, oh, actually, sales is a thing. It's not only in skills; actually could be a career.
Yeah.
And I wasn't so sure about it, but then I realized how important it is to know how to pitch your own skills yourself, how you say a dating. It was very important. And for anything you do in life, you need to sell an idea, and sales is basically the way how you can express, in a eloquent way, but also in you can convince people,
Yeah,
and when you believe in what you do and what you can offer, then other people, it's easier for them to believe it, because then you're committed to your word and to what you're selling.
I love that. I love that. That's amazing. Yeah. So how did you, you started off as a civil engineer. You graduated, from college as a civil engineer and then ended up becoming a sales manager a few years later. Like, why did you make that career change? That's a huge career change. Like, why did you make that?
Well, that's a really good question. Let's say, if you don't mind, I would love to go back to, childhood.
Yes, please. Let's go back to childhood. That's
Now
where it all
is
starts from.
that's where everything starts from. I basically I grew up with my grandparents and my mom.
Okay.
My dad and my mom, they were together, but they never lived together. My dad was into basketball, so everything related to my dad, like friends and everything, it was around basketball.
Yeah.
So I remember as a child, used to go to all his games with his friends, and so it was very common that old men were playing basketball. My mom was with all of the rest of like wife and
At
girlfriends and
home.
stuff.
Yeah.
No, in the field, but just in one part, like talking about
Oh yeah,
going
by
to
the
stuff.
side. Yeah, by the
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
And all childs were playing in the playground, like just and then for me that was something really cool doing on the weekends. And I remember this very clear, like everyone after the games going back home. And I remember like this image of most of my dad's friends going to really nice cars, and like a big family, like traditional family image. And
Yep.
for me, that I didn't grow up in that traditional family, like living together in the same house. For me, it
Yeah.
was like kind of idealistic way of a nice family. And then I was like, I used to remember asking my mom, well, like, what did my dad's friends do for a living? And most of them, they do civil engineering, which is a very popular career here in Colombia. And
Gotcha.
and I was like, oh, nice. And what do they do? And they say like they do construction
That's
of houses, buildings, like bridges and stuff. And I was like, that sounds cool. And they have cool families, they have money, they have everything. So I grew up with this idea of like, I'm good at maths, I like physics, I like building stuff as a kid. And so like, I'm gonna be a civil engineer. So I have no doubt about it for all my like growing up and stuff. So when I graduated from school, I was like, I'm gonna be a civil engineer. That's it, no doubt.
no
So
doubt.
I present different admission tests for different universities as it's for civil engineering. I passed through all of them. I was like, there is no doubt. That's my direction, civil engineer. So I start my career as a civil engineer. Like here in Colombia, it takes usually 5 years. I study in a public university.
Yeah.
So because of strikes and stuff, it usually extends a little bit longer. I studied civil engineer for 6 years, which is a
Wow.
long time.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the last few years of the career of my degree, I started realizing that I like it. It's cool. I'm not the best student ever, but I never failed a subject, and like I did well. But then when in the last year when I started working in the field, like in my doing an internship and stuff, I I realized first I started in the structural design part of it, and I was like, this is too boring. Like I really need some contact with people. That was
Yeah.
something that I was missing. I wanna. And then the other part was on field, right, on sites working as a residential engineer. And then I was like, from experience from other like colleagues and friends working in that field, the stresses that they were managing a big amount of people, which was good. But then the stresses of the whole construction site, the processes and everything, and then the salaries that they were receiving and that they were
Yeah.
expecting to receive afterwards. And I was
Yeah.
like, now I'm not so sure if I want to be a
If I
civil
want to
engineer. But then I said, okay, maybe I want to be still civil engineer, but not in Colombia. Let's see what other opportunities I have.
yeah.
Um, so at the end of my time at the uni, I met my girlfriend. She was British. I have few experience for like, dating like foreigners in Medellin. I originally, like, I mean, I'm from Cucuta, the border with Venezuela, but I study in Medellin. Hopefully you
Gotcha.
have heard from it. It's a very nice city, so very touristic for the last few years.
Yeah.
So I met quite a few foreigners and I date them. And then when they left Colombia, I have, heartbroken. So I was like,
Heartbroken.
so when I met Natasha, my
Ye-
girlfriend,
Yep.
I was like, well, I'm dating, I'm very happy, I'm feel very in love, but like, what happened next?
What
Like,
happened next if she leaves? Yeah.
yeah. So she basically let me know that I reached that point. I was like, okay, I need to ask her because I'm gonna finish my degree
Yeah.
and I'm looking for other opportunities in other countries. What about if I go to the UK? So
Y-
for me, that was a big step. I asked her and basically decide to say like, Tash, what do you think if I consider moving to the UK looking for a job there? Is that something that you would be interested? Like, would you like to continue the relationship? And
Yeah.
then her response was yes. And I was like, okay, now this is done. Like, and that's the way how I decided to go to the UK. I took my flight, got all the documentation, all the preparation. I went on a tourist visa, supposed to stay there for 6 months, but
Yeah.
that was the time to get a job, get the transition to work visa. But then she was studying in the University of Manchester. So
Yeah.
we're supposed to stay 2 weeks in London and fly to Manchester. The thing was like nobody planned that we're gonna have a pandemic, something totally unexpected.
Yep.
I end up basically living with her family in
For nine
under
months.
lockdown for 9 months. It was crazy, but it was amazing. I think it was the best possible scenario. I learned
Wow.
I learned so much about the culture, about her family, about
Yeah.
her values. It was they literally adopt me for 9 months. They treat me like another child,
Wow.
and it was awesome. And then the problem was that I couldn't find a job as a civil engineer. It was completely competitive.
Yeah.
Um, I reached that point that I have to basically get my suite out when we were able to, get out.
Yeah.
Like online application wasn't working at all. So I was like, okay, let's do old school.
Yeah.
I got my suite on and literally have a list of all of the sites that there were
Sadly,
active on projects
yeah.
and I have basically the different locations. So I got the underground to the metro and literally get ready with some CVs. I print up some CVs
Yeah.
and I was like, okay, so I'm gonna go there.
The
Just
old school way.
yeah, go one by
One
one.
one by one.
I tried to do it. The the thing was that I was expecting like that they were gonna receive me in the entrance, say, "Oh, you're Marvin, come on in,
Come
go to the
here.
office." Nobody did that.
Nobody did that.
I have to wait actually outside, like literally there for a few minutes, hours even, just waiting to somebody who looks like a manager that would come out, just approach them, and then just say like, "Hey, I'm Marvin. I'm looking for a job. This is my skill set."
Yeah.
And then that was the first time that I realized, well, sales is actually extremely important. That was the
Mm.
first time that I have to create an elevator pitch. I knew that I didn't have that much time, so that was my first time. I did give away some CVs. Didn't receive any calls, I have to say,
Mm-mm.
but it was a good experience, right?
Yeah.
I have to. The time went off. My extension for the visa was over, so I have to come back to Colombia. We at that point we have done some long distance a couple of times. The first one was 5 months of long distance. The second one was 7 months. It was absolutely too much. So we decided like, okay, what is our plan B? So my girlfriend, she looked for a job in Medellin.
Yeah.
She's a writer, a very talented writer.
Oh wow.
So she found a job on a PR firm in Medellin. And then after that, I was back in my hometown, how I said, in Cucuta, the border with
Yeah.
Venezuela,
Yep.
and had to start looking for jobs in Medellin because we wanted to be together
Together, yeah.
and start looking for jobs as a civil engineer. The problem was that the jobs that I was trying to apply, they were all outside of Medellin, actually in the like field in the countryside or very far from there in other cities or in other in other like villages and stuff,
Yeah.
quite far from there. So I was like, I'm not sure if, we have done all this and now we're gonna not be together again, even living in the
Mm.
same country. So I was
Yeah.
like, what else can I do in Medellin? So I started actually looking for different kind of jobs. I did try to apply as a English teacher. I tried to apply for, as a civil engineer. Nothing was going on until I received on LinkedIn a random message for a sales job as an SDR, selling chiropractic supplies in the U.S. market. All Florida was my state, and I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's do it. So I did a test. I passed the test. I said, like, when can you come here to the office in Medellin? I literally have to moved back to Medellin 1 week after. Tash
Yeah.
wasn't there yet
Yeah.
because she have to move something with her visa like in June. That was like February. So that's how I moved back to Medellin and start my career in sales. And that's where I have to start from scratch. I have no idea about sales. I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how I started. That was my transition, and that's how I get there.
That was a beautiful transition, man. Like, went to school, studied civil engineering as a kid. This is what you wanted to do. And then, graduated and just realized that life is just not the way. It's like this saying, we plan life to go like this, but when the time comes, life goes like this.
Exactly.
ups, ups and down, like back and forth, and just bringing you here and there until you came back home, and that was where you discovered you got the job. And this is not
Yeah.
even you discovering the passion part of it. This is just like a door opening for you. At least, like, I
Yeah.
have a job. Thank God. You get right. Yes,
Yeah,
but
correct.
yeah, but like you said something. You said in those 9 months that you lived with your, Natasha's family, the father taught you a few tips and tricks on sales. You get right. Like, I
Yeah.
want to know because he's like you
A
said,
mentor.
a mentor for you. Yep, someone that
Yep.
is very good at it. Like, what are some of these tips and tricks he taught you about sales, during those 9 months? What did you learn from him?
Well, that was something. Those tips that he started sharing with me
Yeah.
they were tips that I know that Natasha and her siblings, they were really doing normally. So I know that he did a really good job by training them as a kids, teaching them about
Teaching
how to
him.
be more engaging with people and how to
Yeah.
actually build natural conversations. And I think one of the best advices that he gave me was about listen, like actually active listening what people is saying, and
Mm.
then ask them questions. People, that's something that I realized and that was probably, my biggest problem, or like something that I didn't realize before, and it's come from my family.
Yeah.
Everyone loves talking, but nobody
Loves
likes
to listen.
asking. Yeah, listening. And like, and people, so when it goes just, like you meet somebody, like imagine you're on a club and you just meet somebody, like a girl or a boy, whatever, and you start having a conversation, and then just the other person start just talking and talking and talking and never ask you a single question. And that's a really big red flag, and you're
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm not that interested, even
Mm.
though it can be very attractive person.
Yeah.
But then that's a big thing, and that's something I realized. So I start listening, active listening to people when I'm talking to them, and actually listening and ask an interesting question that actually you feel interested about, like you want to know more about something. So ask them back, and I'm sure that they will be like, oh, he's actually um like proper listening what I'm saying. Is he's
Yeah.
interested, or she
Yeah.
is interested? And that's the way how you start building a real conversation and deepen up, like something more interesting for both of you, and you are opening to learn from the other person, and the other
Yeah.
person will be open to learn from you.
That is
And
true.
so that for me is extremely important.
Yeah, no, like myself too. I never knew how to listen. Back where I'm from, it's just I feel like my family wasn't exposed to this. You get right. Like none of them were
Same.
in sales, none of them were in anything. So we didn't even knew the power of listening. Everybody wanted to speak at the same time, like you said. You get it. Everybody wanted to be heard. So,
Yeah.
but like you lose you lose something when you there's power in letting someone be on top. You get it, right? Everybody
Yep.
wanted to be like, I know more than you know, I'm gonna prove you wrong. But that doesn't buy anything. You know,
Yeah.
the most valuable thing is being able to give someone that platform to speak about themselves. You get it, right? Why you just stay down here and listen. You get a lot more from them when they speak than actually when you try to, you know,
Yeah,
really
that's
amazing.
correct.
Yeah,
That's correct.
yeah,
And what you just say is extremely important about like you learn more from the other person, which you just let them speak. Because
yeah.
in sales, at the beginning, because obviously I didn't know anything, and I, because of my family and how you said, I come also from big families, and the one who speaks louder and the most is who wins.
Is the one who wins.
Yeah, so but doesn't work like, it doesn't work like that on sales.
No,
On
no.
sales, you should let the other person speak, and then when the other person feels free to speak, and then you understand how they think, what they need,
Mm,
then you
mm.
know how it is your approach and how is the best way how you can sell your product, your service, because you are actually understanding, oh, this is the way how I'm gonna sell them and solve their real problems. Because otherwise, what we're gonna do is like, we have this pitch in our head and that we create or our company
Yeah,
gave us, and then we
yeah.
say like, we are the best because of this and this, and we solve this and this problem,
This, yeah.
but we don't really know what they want.
What
We
they
don't really
want.
know what is their motivation, what is their real problem. So that is a big tip for sales if you are starting or if you are, you know, a senior.
Yeah,
Something that you should really care is about listening. What is their real problem, so you can know
yeah.
what is the real solution that you need to sell to them. Or maybe your solution is not the best fit for them,
Fit for
and you,
them. Ooh,
and then you need to understand
you
that
need to understand.
you don't, you cannot sell to anyone, and sometimes that's a good thing, because
That's a
maybe
good.
you can sometimes push a sell, and then
Mm,
when you start working with that person or sell a product and it's not
mm.
what they needed or what they
Yeah,
expected, that is going to
yeah.
translate in a bad review, in a bad experience. So
Ooh,
that's something that maybe you don't want, you know.
I
It's not
feel
all
you.
about sales or money, it's
I
about
feel.
helping.
I feel you. I feel you. Like, so I love what you just said. It's very, very powerful. The fact that you have to also know that this person you're speaking to might not be the fit for what you have. And also learning how to walk away from that. You get it, right? You have to know that the person might not know because they don't know anything about. You have to be mature enough to know that this is not my client. You know, I can take their money, but I wouldn't be of good service to them. Which would, like you said, later on affect you because they would give you a bad review that this this didn't work for me. You get it, right, but they sold me. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
so in the long run, it's better to just say no and move forward
Yeah,
than
correct.
to take a yes that would, you know, later on endanger you. But now the thing is, it's not sometimes, it's not the salesperson's fault. Like companies are just created to make people just go get. It doesn't matter if we would look for a way. I was a personal trainer before,
Yep.
and I mean, I'm still a personal trainer,
I know, I've
but
seen
like,
your videos.
well, like the companies that I used to work for, I used to work with a company, and they just wanted to make money that they didn't even care if the person wasn't my style of personal training. Like he wanted something that I couldn't offer, but they would say, have him in and we're going to learn how to give him what he wants. You get it, right? But at the end of the day, too, you know within yourself, it's like, I really can't give, like, I've let clients go because I'm like, oh, no, 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 that was not for me. He wanted something completely different, not my style of training. They were like, you should have had him. You should have had him. And then we'll look for a way to, we'll fake it till you make it. We'll fake it till you can make it. You get it,
Yep.
right? And that have ruined a lot of relationships with me in the long run because it's like, no, I don't want to fake this till I make it. I want to, know what I'm doing, know what I'm saying. You get, so sometimes companies play that role in
Yeah.
making people to just have one mindset. They just see people as as customers, clients. They don't. They just want to
Numbers.
take
Yeah,
numbers. Yes, numbers, and people know when you want to take from them. You get right. People
I
know
agree.
when you're just here to sell me something. People know when you're just reading from a script. People know
Yeah.
when you really care about me and what I want, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. Like we need to be in that place where we're not just trying to see people as numbers, but see them as, I don't
People,
know,
real people.
people, real people, and connect with them, you know, build friendship, build relationship. You know, that's amazing, man.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe an advice that I would give, and it might not work from every salesperson or everyone, but something that has really worked for me, it's and this is a discussion that I have one with one of my best friends who is Venezuelan, and he now live is also, I met him in this first job. Also he's a salesperson, but
Yeah.
he's initially engineer too, who is working now in Germany.
Yes.
And he said like, but you know what is the thing with you, like that you actually want to help people. And I was like, yeah,
Mm.
of course, because first then before then being a good salesperson, a good engineer or anything, I want to be a good person. And because I believe in karma, I believe in my values, I believe in who I am and what I
Yeah.
want. and
Yeah.
then and then you can apply that for everything. And so what I try to do is like, I really want to try to help my clients. I really
Yes.
want to and if I some way I can help them, even though they don't end up working with me, that's still good.
That's
Because
still
first,
good.
I'm not that I do it for them, but I'm sure that that's building up good karma for the future. They can end up recommending us with somebody, like end up bringing us into a social circle that will bring tons of business for us in the future. We don't
Mm.
know, like we don't really know how our actions are gonna affect our future. But the best
Mm.
thing that you can do is be good, be a good person, and then I know that that's gonna end up bringing you future benefits, or not, but that's still good,
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
So keep it real to yourself, who you are. Try to help in an honest way, and if you cannot help, be honest about it too, and then you will avoid some future headaches.
Yeah.
And then you can be better at your job, even though if you're a personal trainer, or if
Yep.
you're a salesperson, if you're an entrepreneur, if
Yep.
you're a CEO, whatever. Like, just keep yourself real, and try to be nice to other people.
Love it. I love it. So I'm gonna take you a little back to your story. I was enjoying the
Yep,
story, okay?
of
So
course.
you got the job now. You got the job, and this is not your dream job, okay? I want to know
Yep.
what it was like for you because this is not something you saw yourself doing. But
Yep.
now, you know, life happens and you have this job. How was that for you? And then how did you move from that place to the point where you became a sales manager? Like you get, how did you move?
Well, always I say in my job interviews that my superpower is to, how can I say that in English? I get in the mood when I feel passionate about something, or
Yeah.
interested about something, or challenged about something.
Yep.
I get in this in the character,
You
and I
switch on,
switch my mind, and
switch
then
your,
if I have to study, I'm gonna study, and if I
yep.
have to do something, if I have to train, if I have to, I'm gonna do it.
Do it. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that people should know that things are not gonna magically happen.
Happen.
You need to make it happen by doing the work that you have to do to make it happen. So
Yes.
for me, what it meant, it was like, I didn't know anything about sales,
Yeah.
but they did have some training courses. I have to say that for some reason, which I don't regret, but initially they start with selling. Sorry, like the training courses were all the classic salespeople, which
Mm.
was Grant Cardone. It was
Oh,
the
really?
yeah, the Wall Street, like Jordan Belfort.
I know
All
Jordan
the
Belfort. I know. I
it
read
was
his book.
everything about cold calling, about Govray, like
Yep. Yep.
so at the beginning, it was everything about numbers. Like, I wasn't ready, but they said like, start calling now. And through the experience, I was so scared, but I managed to get on with it and start like calling. And have to say that when I started in that company, they just open up. They are a US big company selling medical supplies for clinics. My department was chiropractic supplies.
Yeah.
um and that's that office that they opened in Medellin. They were basically trying to sell those chiropractic supplies. There was not a single day before I arrived. They opened up like 1 or 2 months before. They
Yeah.
hadn't sell anything yet. They didn't like, they hadn't like break the ice at the moment. So
Yeah.
1 week after I arrived, I did the first sales, and after that I was like, okay, let's go for it. And then obviously in the sales industry, a good motivator, it's money, so commissions. So that's something that always, a good salesperson obviously will like money, which I do
Yeah.
too. Like we all
Yeah.
want to grow economically too. So I was like, okay, so the most sales I do, the most money I get. So that makes sense to me, was clear. So if I wasn't that good initially, because nobody is good initially, I mean, unless you are, a genius
A
or have a
genius, yeah.
natural talent to something.
Yeah.
Um, what I have to do was study. So I remember coming back home and watching videos about sales all night, taking notes, and basically that was what I do. When I was gonna wake up early in the morning, watch some videos that would motivate me about doing sales. Something that company did, it was really good, was role playing before starting calling. So that's something that I recommend if you have a company, if you have a sales team, or if you're working yourself as an entrepreneur, you're the salesperson of your company.
Yeah.
Try to do some cold calling, sorry, some role
Motiv
playing initially, so
yeah.
you get in the mood, and that's going to help you to have a better performance when you actually need to do the good cold calls, right?
Yeah.
um and that's what I do. I also, before that, I always have been, I don't know, like a very hippie person. I've been into meditation and
Yeah.
through, so meditation always is a good tool to use when if you don't have the chance to do role playing with somebody else. Meditation can help you to basically balance your internal energy and visualize yourself in the mood that you want to get.
Wanna
So
get, yeah.
visualize the conversation that you want to have, how you want to respond to a specific
Question.
questions or
Objections.
objections.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So that's good, because in your mind that's happening, you're getting prepared. So it's basically role playing. So
Mm.
that's something that I also would highly recommend. And meditation is always a good skill to get you in the right mindset. Also balance all this energy that you have inside you, like from all the stresses that you can have in your mind.
That is
um,
true.
so whatever you do, if you want to be in the right mindset, in the right approach to what you're gonna do, whatever it is, meditation is a good tool that when when you master it, it's gonna make your life easier, because it's just something that can help you to manage your emotions, your feelings, your ideas, this sense of direction that you have. And then you can like set yourself goals to, it's always good to have a plan.
Hmm.
So when you create that plan first in your mind, and then you
Yeah.
put it into notes in your notebook, and then you know what you should start, what is your next step. Something that I highly recommend is, even though you have a plan, make that plan flexible, because the plan is going to change 100%.
Facts.
It doesn't matter what you're going to do. You can visualize something, but the important thing is that you need to know where you're going. It doesn't matter that the plan can change in the, where you're actually doing it. But if you say like, okay, this is not the right path, maybe I need
Yeah.
to, take this way. That's the same with sales. So if you have an initial script, because that's what you think is going to work, and then
Yes.
you start like testing it and it doesn't work, well, don't marry to your script, even though you made it. Like, just, detach yourself of the of what is yours, of what this, like, people, when feel ownership about something, they are emotionally involved, and it's harder
Yeah.
to detach and try new things. So
Yeah.
my advice is, um don't be shy, try something new and start do A/B testing. Whatever works, maybe the answer might be a mix of both, and that's something that is going to help you. And also,
Mm.
don't only detach of, the script of whatever, also detach of the outcome. That's something extremely important, not only for self, for everything what you do. When you
Explain
do
that.
something,
Yeah.
when you do something and you actually care more about the process than the outcome, then
Hmm.
the outcome can be better than what you expected, because you are cutting off the expectations, because let's say that you're gonna, again, dating, so you meet somebody and you're talking to somebody that you are interested in, and you start meeting each other, and then you have this expectation of like, oh, she's gonna be, or he's gonna be my boyfriend or my girlfriend,
Yes.
or we're gonna go and we're gonna have the chance to what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, man.
And then what everything that you're saying in your mind, you are putting like an intention, and it's that intention is because I want this to happen, right? But then you're missing out on the actual, it might be go in a different direction. It might be you
Yes.
end up being best friends, or maybe you end up I don't know, like getting married. You don't know, but it's like when you're putting this expectation of the outcome, then you
Yeah.
are like only restricting yourself to one direction, right? And
Mm.
then you're only happy if that happens, or
Oh.
if you're trying something to happen, like if you're like gonna like get a job, and if it's not that job, you're not gonna be happy. Or if it's like just in life in general,
Mm.
just the goal is not so important. It might
That's
be
the
more
process.
the process, so you can know yourself better in the process,
Yeah.
understand you that better. Maybe the goal that you were expecting initially is not the goal that you throughout the process. It's like me in the civil engineer.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's the same in sales, it's the same in it can be applied in two different fields. So detach yourself the outcome. That's something that is going to help you, is going to put less pressure on, let's say, on sales, on the cold calling process, because you're detached of it. So it's going to be more natural, it's going to be more eloquent. You're going to be more open to actually know the other person, and actually understand them, and not only then you're detaching of the sell. So you don't want to sell them like I'm calling them to sell you something. No, I'm calling you
Yeah.
to know you, to
Hmm.
introduce myself, to give you the chance to know me, that I'm a real person too. This is my job. I'm a good professional. I'm a good salesperson too. I'm a nice person. Hopefully you think that. And then that's the way how you build a real natural connection. So
Connection.
detaching yourself from the outcome and enjoying the process
I
and
love
being
that.
present,
I
especially
love
being
that.
present.
Those three things. I guess, I was gonna ask you the skills needed for, being a successful sales, but you've already like spilled a lot of them out already, detaching yourself from the outcome you get, right? Listening, and the third one you said was it just skipped my mind. But
Being present and really wanting to help the
yes,
people, the people you're speaking to, you're having the chance to meet, because it's another person like you trying to do their best, and that's what you should be trying to do too, right?
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah. And this is not just in sales. It the same policy applies in life too.
Everything.
Everything. Like everything. It does. It does. So, ooh. So when you
I know.
meditate, what are you meditating on? Are you meditating about the process, or your meditation is about the outcome?
Okay. Well, that's a really good question. Again, um, I think the biggest goal for meditating and
Yeah.
meditation,
Yeah.
it's being present. And there's basically two ways to get in that mood that you need, like this zen mood of, because some people think that meditating is about putting your mind in blank, in white, and I think that's a little bit impossible. I believe that you know um it's quite complicated to just say I'm not gonna think about anything, because what happens if I tell you don't think about a monkey driving a car? The first thing you're
Yes.
gonna think is about the monkey
Monkey
driving the
driving a
car.
car. Yeah.
Yeah. So you cannot tell your mind, stop thinking about something, because that's where all the intrusive thoughts and random thoughts are gonna, and you're being
Yeah.
thinking like, what I'm thinking about
What
this,
am I thinking about this?
So, and that is normal, and you should, be aware that that's going to happen, and that's part of the process. And there's going to be distractions, and that's fine, because that's how
Mm.
your mind is communicating with your internal, mind, and that's when you shut down all the external, interactions, or
Social actions, yeah.
then your mind, you're just
Internally.
more yeah, and giving more importance to your mind. And that's maybe your mind needs to tell you something, or maybe it's something random that doesn't need to give so much importance, but
Yeah.
it is okay. Just let it flow and
Mm-hmm.
stay present. So
Mm.
what I normally do, there's two ways to get in that mood of, of high state of consciousness. One is starting with your body, relaxing your body, and then has a consequences. Your mind is gonna also
Relax.
relax. Or
Mm-hmm.
start relaxing your mind, and then your body will consequently relax too. Those both parts need to be in a high state of relaxation. So your imagination start like being more powerful. And then when you get in that mood, in that state, people doesn't know about it, but it's so powerful because you can use it for manifestation. You can use it to visualization, how you're gonna perform in something, or just to like relax your mind, anxiety, depression, like, or maybe use as a tool to how you manage your emotions. And maybe if you're feeling sad or having a big problem,
Yeah.
um when you are so, like, how do you say, when you are so in first person, you can maximize those problems, because you see them like you're here and the problem is here, so you see like something massive. But then
Mm.
if you give yourself the chance to see that from a, like, a third party perspective,
First, but yeah.
then you can see like clear, like, oh, okay, that's what I should do, or that's what I'm feeling this, or like,
Yeah.
then you understand it better. And all that happens when meditation is a good tool to learn different tools or different strategies to. That's why there's so many type of meditation. I would let the audience to find yourself the best
The best.
type that works for you.
Gotcha.
What I normally do is I start relaxing my body. Some people like doing, like sitting down. I personally enjoy like letting down fully on a bed or in the floor on a yoga mat, and then the first thing is the process of relaxing your body.
Mm.
So um, the way how you do that, and the best way to get there, is through breathing. So it's being aware of your breathing, like, like the air that is coming through your nose and going out through your mouth.
Mm.
And how is it feeling in your body? Is it going
Mm-hmm.
only on your chest? Are you feeling that on
Mm-hmm.
your lungs, or are you feeling that on your belly too?
Mm-mm.
Something that I recommend is it's use the diaphragm, like, I don't know how to say that in English, using your diaphragm,
Diaphragm, yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, to expand it, and so let all the air come in, let
Mm-hmm.
it come in, and then go like, slowly go like get out from your body.
So,
This type of breathing is going to help you to relax the rest of your body, right? So do like 10 kind of this breathing, and then every time that you breathe out, then imagine that your physical stress
it's
start
leaving
going out
leaving
through
your
your,
body.
yeah, through your like breathing out. And then start being aware of how your body is feeling. Sometimes you go through a process, which is my case, of pain, in which I start relaxing my body and my back, and start having some points of pain. That's like, oh, so if I start relaxing more my spine, I
Yeah.
start feeling some pain. And then I'm like, and it tried to, distract myself from, oh, on the thinking on the pain. But then I
Don't.
was like, okay, don't be scared. Let's let it still relax even more. And then that part of the pain and start just going down until it disappears.
Oh
And then
wow.
all my body is still like completely calm, completely relaxed. And then like when I am in that stage, I know that my mind is getting in that stage too. And then is when the magic happens. So I don't know if you are familiar with chakra meditation. I would say I'm a very hippie person. Chakras are an idea. I don't know if you can prove that scientifically or
Yeah.
not, but just the concept,
Mm-hmm.
the way how it is created, it helps you to organize your mind, your energy better. um, and just the idea of having each chakra having a specific function, and
Yeah.
if you don't work on it, or just being aware of that part what you should work on being aware of it, it can help you to act better, to take better decisions, to make better decisions, sorry, to think differently, maybe to just because of the idea. I don't know if you want me to get into that, but it's in a different topic, but I would love to because I'm sure that a lot of people can benefit out
For
of it.
meditation. Okay. Okay. Let me tell you a funny story. I I tried meditating once and then I fell
Yeah.
asleep. I I fell asleep and I just felt like I was so bad. Like I've always wanted to learn how to meditate, and whenever I do it, like on the bed or somewhere, I just find myself falling asleep. So
That's
I feel
normal.
so I feel bad. Like, this is not for me. I feel like people meditate and wake, and people meditate awake, and I'm just like boom, and I'm snoring. The next thing I'm snoring, and someone told me that's a good. That's the whole point of
It's
it.
a good first steps.
Relaxation. The fact that that level of relaxation is kind of like what you need. But I never tried it after then.
Okay, so let me give you some advice on that because
Yeah,
it's normal. Like, and sometimes when people do meditation, it's at
yeah,
the end of the day and they are pretty tired, and
yeah.
that can happen. It has happened to me, still happens to me. So I would recommend maybe do meditation at the beginning of the day, maybe
Mm,
after having your first coffee, that you are kind of active. So you want to prepare yourself for the day. Maybe you have an important day, you have an interview, or you're gonna meet somebody, a networking event. I would highly recommend start with some meditation. And when you are in that process in which you fell asleep, that's a good thing because that's what you are actually trying to do. You want to relax your body. What is the problem is that your body and your mind is not trained yet to understand, like, oh, this is the sweet spot that I'm looking for.
yeah.
And then you just pass it and you fall asleep and start snoring, which is fine too.
That
um,
was
and
my
that
own case. That
and that's
was
great.
my
The next time start doing, like, okay, this time I'm gonna be aware of, like, when I'm reaching that point, I'm gonna stay here. You can still fall asleep, but it just can happen. Like, so maybe the next time, and that's gonna happen a few times, and that is okay too. But then you will start learning, like, okay, so now after I feel this,
yeah.
let's start doing this or
This
thinking about this. So
gotcha.
and then in that point there is, like, there is transcendental meditation. There
Yeah,
is which is there is a really good video on YouTube from David Lynch. He's explaining in a really cool, like, clever way how
yeah.
they how he does transcendental meditation, which is a very deep meditation in which you can fall asleep too, but it just takes you to your really, really deep inside and make
Mm-hmm.
you, like, be aware of how you feel, what do you want to feel, or what you're feeling, or like thinking that you're feeling but you are actually not feeling.
Not
It's
feeling it.
just you are
Yeah.
more aware of yourself, and then you can put seeds on yourself of what
Gotcha.
you want to do.
Mm.
um so yeah, that's my recommendation. So if you
Okay.
want, I can give you some examples or some tips of chakra meditation if that's something that you might be interested in. That is a really, for in my personal case, it has helped
Worked
me
for you
so much. Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
much. Yeah. I feel you. Okay. So yes, let's go back to the sales conversation.
Okay.
So we're still talking about customers because and this is a question I have, which is more important, customer relationship or business relationship when you're with that customer? Which is more important? I don't know if this question makes sense. You understand me, right? When you're with a
Okay.
customer, which is more important, building a good customer relationship or putting your business, trying to get your business across to the customer.
Yeah. Well, I think that both questions are in the same direction, right? Because if you are trying to build your business and trying to grow, you need customers. So,
Mm.
and the way how you can have a sustainable growth is when you have sustainable customers, right?
Customers,
And the
yeah.
way how you build them is through sustainable relationships. So,
Yeah.
because they need to be real. If it's something transactional, you give them their product, their service of whatever they bought from you,
And then you
then it's end. They're
yep.
not your customers anymore. But instead, if you actually start having a different approach and you start giving them a lot of valuable content, through
Content.
education,
Yeah.
through that's basically what we do at the in this marketing agency at work, SkyTop Digital Services. We create a lot of educational material, not only one-to-one with our clients, but also in our social media, in the way how we build a brand online. What you
Yeah.
want to do, it's give them educational material, inform them about things that they maybe they didn't know but are relevant for them.
Yeah.
And also by understanding your audience about, because you already have some customers, so you know what is the real problem you're solving. So maybe people doesn't know what are their real problem, or they haven't feel understood by other company. That is your chance to actually understanding them by maybe your social media, maybe your ads, maybe, or maybe through your sales one-to-one, person. It's about how you give without expecting anything in return, but
Mm.
because of karma, because call it divine justice, uh
Yeah.
like third law of Newton. It's action and reaction. So
Yeah.
you will end up having
I
loyal
haven't.
customers, a better, and that's the way how you grow your business.
Gotcha. And what are some strategies you can use to build a strong relationship with your customers, and how can you ensure that those, relationships are based on trust and mutual respect?
Yep. Again, I think the best way or the best advice for me, it's just by really caring about helping them. Like that must be your main goal. Like if somebody's feel that you honestly are trying to help them, then they're
Yeah.
gonna be loyal to you.
Facts.
Maybe, how I said before, maybe they are not gonna work with you, but they still wanna still in touch with you. There is some clients that are no clients anymore, are friends that they never bought from me, but they have been referring me people on a weekly basis, and I wasn't expecting like to have that with them. Like there is this Maria, who is a consultant in Massachusetts,
Yeah.
to get your business certified as a minority or woman-owned business. And then after we have this initial sales call, we get along so well that now we're friends, and we have every 2 or 3 weeks a call just to catch up. And basically we have been going through personal conversations about business, about like
Like,
opportunities and stuff,
yeah, yeah,
about government programs, as I help your friend
yeah,
Salome, who is
Salome.
now my friend too. We have been also so many conversations about ancestral medicine, very hippie again, but
Yeah.
that's the way, because you're not like meeting them, knowing them in a personal level. More, you're not seeing them just as a client. It's just you're seeing
Mm.
them as a real person, and they are seeing you know as a salesperson,
But as a
but
real
as a
person.
yeah. So, and that's the way how you have loyal customers, and then can grow, and they're gonna help you because they will want the best for you, and you
Yeah.
want the best for you. It's just
I
how it
got you.
works.
And it's look, so now the thing is that when you start off in sale, you don't have this mindset. You get right. You don't have this, you don't start off this way, you know. You
Yeah,
start off, let's say, you want money.
yeah,
You
correct.
are behind on your rent and your bills and all that, and you saw a client that you could sell by saying, hey, I got what you need, even though you don't have it. You get
Yeah,
right, because you need to sell.
yeah, correct.
Okay, and then eventually you realize, okay, this didn't work.
Yeah,
What's a good mindset that someone needs to have before going into sales? Like when I mean mindset, I'm talking about like having an abundance mindset, that there's a lot of people out there for me. Even if I don't sell to this one person, I'm going to sell to someone else. You get right? What are more of
yeah,
this mindset that you think someone needs to have before going into sales? Because the mindset plays a huge role in sales.
yeah. I agree. Well, that's a good question. I think that's what it worked for me. It's that before a sales, how I said, before being a good salesperson, I want to be a
Yeah.
good person, right?
Yep.
So, but I did face that challenge because what this company was telling me is like you have to do 75 calls per day,
Thank
um,
you.
and it's just all about quantity but no
Yep.
quality,
No
right?
quality. Yeah.
But that's part of the process, and I don't think that people should be scared of experiencing that, because I think to be confident enough to to talk to somebody, to talk about the quality of your products and being sure that you can help them, first you need to be confident to have the conversation, and that's not going to happen naturally unless you go outside of your comfort zone and still do the
Yeah.
call.
Yeah. Do the
It might
calls.
be everyone's gonna have really bad calls initially. I did have tons, and so it's a game number. So at the beginning, maybe you are every 100 calls, you're gonna have one good call, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the mindset that it works for me is don't focus on don't focus on the 100 no's. Focus on the one yes that you're looking for, because
Yes.
that's what you need throughout the process, throughout building out your skill sets and everything.
Mm.
This number is gonna decrease. It's gonna, so you're gonna need maybe 60 calls so you get one good call, and then it's gonna be 50, then 40, then and that's why you're gonna get like, oh, now I'm confident enough to maybe I don't need to do the 100 calls,
Yeah.
but I can do 20 and I have a good call. And that's focus on the positive things, and that's going to help you to keep going on your game, like, because I think on sales something that is extremely important is resilience, because people can get demotivated by people being nasty
No,
to them
nasty to them. Yeah.
and being rude and say, like, because I have get so many really bad calls, and people like salesperson that take it personal. They're gonna be very reactive to it, and so in the next call they're gonna sound sad or they're gonna
Sad.
sound demotivated. So
Yes.
just understand that it's no personal. They're not telling no to you. They're telling no to the person who called in a bad time, in a bad moment. They were feeling a bad mood,
Yeah.
or maybe what you say wasn't that eloquent, didn't make sense to them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's about what you said, but it's not you. You are learning. So
Yes.
don't be scared of calling again, and then maybe just think like, okay, the next one is going to be a better call, and it might not be, but like at some point it's going to arrive, and that is the call that you need to look for. Like, don't
Mm.
focus on the no, focus on the yes that you need, and
Yeah.
then stay real to yourself, and I'm sure that you're going to improve. And what did the click in my mind is like, I was like, how can I not like sound as a salesperson and instead as a consultant? And then all this advice that I give initially about really caring about how you can improve their
Yeah.
life,
Yep.
improve their businesses,
Yep.
that is when you're not being a salesperson. That's when you're being a
Gotcha. Being a
consultant.
consultant. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where you want to go, of course. And that's how I feel that I'm still getting there. I'm
Yeah.
not the perfect salesperson, the
Yeah.
perfect consultant. I'm still learning, and I will always be learning, because I'm changing, the market is
Market's
changing,
changing.
all the conditions are changing. But there are a few things that you need to keep of who you are, and that's gonna still be part of what Marvin means, and what, even though I'm gonna learn new skills, I'm gonna change few skills.
But there are some
um
constant things that needs to remain.
yeah,
and
exactly.
and that's you being a good person.
Yeah,
Those are like your values should hardly change, you get right.
yeah,
I understand where you're coming from. I understand where you're coming from. And like you talked about no, so I read something recently that says no is the beginning of the sale, you get right.
yeah,
So a lot of people now go open to hear yes, you get right. But you should also have this mindset of being like, when you hear no, so like the guy was just saying how no is very important in sales. You get
yeah,
right? That people now know that when you call them on those cold calls, you are saying things that will make them to say yes. And if they say yes to you, they feel like they are not in control. You get right. So you want people to learn how to say no through your conversation. No, 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 and then you might get a yes. You get
yeah,
right. But if you go for a yes, 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 people might say yes to you just because they don't want you to bother them. You get right, and they will not be
correct.
committed to it. You get. So I don't know if this is true and it applies in your field, but I would love, tell me, what do you think? Do you think no is the beginning of the sale, or yes is the beginning of the sale?
The best answer is depends. In both cases are, they can happen in sales, because you're gonna have so many calls that everything can happen. It's like absolutely everything can happen. There's so many, like random stories, but they still happen. Very unlikely, but they still happen. So there is few different reasons of what you're saying. So
Yeah.
the no's are basically is gonna test your handling objection skills, right? And might be
Mm-hmm.
not be the best initially, but when you still, like, fulfill all these requirements that we discussed before, like you're being real to yourself, you really want to help them, you feel that you can help them, and they're still
Yeah.
saying no, but you're using your sales skills and all these videos that you watch online and all this what you're studying is to handle the objections. So yeah, so you're right. So initially maybe they have this natural um restrict, like resistance to continue the call,
Yes.
so they're saying
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
So it really depends on your skills to, like, hey, wait, like, look at this,
Look at the.
or maybe you haven't considered this, or maybe you're talking about things that they don't care, so they're saying
Mm-hmm.
no to those things that you're saying. But then when you
Yeah.
touch the right spot and they say like, oh, actually yes, then you're in, you're looking for that yes. But on the other hand, you have there is this other, actually, I don't know if I told you, but I practiced hypnosis for 3 years before, randomly again. And one of the things that I learned in hypnosis is
Yeah.
that when you start speaking to somebody and you start um, making making them say yes to a few questions that the answer is going to be yes, like I don't know, whichever question it is that the answer is yes, and then you accumulate a few yeses before you ask the question that you want them to say yes, then you can use some this kind of technique to influence them, and then they are more likely to say yes. Those are
Yeah.
some theories, but how I said, there is always exceptions, there's always, everything can happen, so you need to be a little bit of like prepare for everything. And that's why it's important, all that learning curve that never stops on sales and in life in general.
Yeah.
But then those skills to manage those different situations and to know how you adapt your maybe your tone of communication. Maybe
Yeah.
there is this theory of there is they they basically create only four categories for the kind of people that you're talking to. The
Yeah.
disc, so the people who is more logic, the people who are more talkative, the people who just want facts and numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So depend on those personalities, you're not going to say the same things that you're like one or the other. So you need to have the experience, the expertise to know, like, oh, okay, so this I understand by listening, this person is this kind of of mindset, that this works the best, or might not, but that's you're just trying different strategies, and that's my advice. And all this is not going to happen from from one day to the other. You need to
Yeah.
live the process, experience it, learning. You're gonna get sad some days, that's like you haven't done any sales. Some months I have had so many bad months with no sales, but still there's another months that's like I've been the top salesperson. But it's life. It's one of the rules, like you're gonna be up, but you're also gonna be down. You need to understand that is part of your process. If you are all the time up, that's not sustainable. And then that's when people get frustrated, when
Frustrated.
they say all their life they yes, 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 and they get one no, they get
Boom.
depressed.
Destruction. Yeah. Yeah.
But that's a middle. Like no,
Yeah.
it's more like part of the process to get all the yes that you need, because those
Mm-hmm.
no's is where you are learning about how do you handle the objections, not only about when
Yes.
you're talking, but also with yourself. What is the
Yeah.
attitude you're taking about when you receive a rejection? Which
Mm.
is the same with dating, with opportunities, for everything.
I feel you. I feel you. How do you, let's go back to, that listening, being an active listener.
Yeah.
How do you become a better listener in sales conversation, And we talked about it, but like, why is it important to, build listening skills, active listening skills?
Okay, so one important something that really has helped me
Yeah.
is that first I know we all have a lot of to say. I know this is contradictory because this is going. You're asking a lot of questions, and I'm just loving to share a little bit of my background.
Yeah.
But what is really important is like having open questions.
Mm-hmm.
Make a list of, let's say you are a personal trainer, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So create a top 10 questions that you know that they are open questions, that they're going to make them think about what they really want, about their
Mm,
motivations. So then when you talk about motivation, about like those emotions that you are what your prospect is really feeling, then that's when you can understand, so this person is scared of rejection, of not being fed, and like, or not
yeah.
finding a girlfriend. So okay, and then you understand that now when you're talking on an emotional level, then it's easier to have, like, they open up and they want to express how they feel, and then when they express how they feel, that is when you need to be an active listener, and then you say like, okay, so this is the real motivation. This person doesn't care about the price, or this
I
person
know
doesn't care about this. What his person really cares about is about this,
this.
and this makes him or her or like feel in this way, and that's what they don't want. Like, so you should be smart and say like, okay, so you're scared about this, so
Mm,
the opposite good emotion is actually this, so let's focus on this, about these emotions, about how this service or this product that I'm gonna like offer you is
yeah.
are actually able to help you through this. So you are more strategic and you let them talk, and then you understand them, what is their real motivations, and then your pitch and what you should focus on. It's That's why you should, like, and they will be interested, and then like give them back questions like, okay, so you feel about this. This is another psychological trick that it helps a lot to people being more open about how
Open.
they feel. It's
Yeah.
like so you let them talk, and from the last part of what they said, you say like, okay, so you say this means that you are experiencing this, like, how do you feel about this other thing, and they're like, oh, this guy is listening to me, and everyone really wants to be listened. And then in that way you can like let them feel more confident and more comfortable to be themselves, to open up about what they really feel about previous experiences, and that can lead you a very more consultative conversation, and that's something that I'm sure is going to bring you better results.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. We're still, talking on listening. Now the thing is, I'm still. So how can one become a better listener? You get it, right? Break
Yeah.
it down for us as, the simplest way you can. How can one become a better listener? When you're listening, okay, what are you listening for? Are you trying to take notes when you listen, or you're just listening plain?
Yeah. Well, when you listen, what you really want to know, it's know the person who is speaking, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
try to, from what this person is saying,
Mm-hmm.
is just filter in your mind, like trying to know the person. So when you know the person, then that person is going to speak about their real problems, but try to understand as a person.
Yeah.
Okay, understanding, okay, so your role in the company, you are the CEO or you are a
Mm-hmm.
manager.
Mm-hmm.
um but the manager, it's this kind of person who is trying to do their best as a manager, right? So,
Yeah.
or is the CEO who is trying to do his or her best as an entrepreneur. So, and then when you know the person, that person feel confident to be themselves, and that's the way how you are, like, that's why you need to be carefully listening about who this person
Who this
is
person is.
and what is
Yeah.
their story. Something that really
Yes,
helps is
yes,
I
yes.
want to know their story, because
Yeah.
when I know their story, I know the kind of person who they are. I know
Mm-hmm.
their story about the business. Then
Mm-hmm.
everything becomes easier, because
Yeah.
when you are interested on somebody's story, then they feel more confident
If I
to
love
have a
that.
proper conversation.
I
Yeah.
love that. Yeah, I think we should. we have this me mindset a lot. Like a lot of people, I don't know, me. I want to be heard. Me, but that makes us lose a lot of things in life. Even like you talked about listening to someone and knowing who they are. So for example, your boss might be a difficult boss at work. You understand me, right? Everybody's afraid of him, but someone with a good listening skills can listen properly and know that this guy loves to be respected. You get right. This is
Yeah,
who he is. He doesn't want to be argued with. And you can just learn how to not argue with him, and or he wants to be feared or called the boss. He wants to be respected because maybe as a child he was never respected. You understand, right?
yeah,
And now he has this powerful role and he wants to exercise that power. So
yeah,
in order for you to be liked by him or loved by him or be his favorite, is to listen to him and see where that is coming from. Like you said, what the feeling, the fear, is it fear or whatever that they are
yeah,
talking about. You listen from there, and then now you start to call him maybe boss or something that will make him feel like I'm in charge. You understand, right? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
you will become his favorite. He would start liking you, and that's how you get favor from people. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's been emotionally smart, like
Yeah.
um for instance, what you say, like if a boss is talking to you and you're just, which that happens to me sometimes, so that you are, how I said, in the first person perspective. So if
Mm-hmm.
they're telling you something, you're just focused on what they are telling, but not
Yeah.
what they mean or where is it coming from or how they're feeling, just to be able to say that. Then you are just getting the message, but you're not getting the real message, which is
Message.
and then when you understand that real message, then you can be give a better response and be better, maybe less reactive and be smarter at your response. And they say like, this guy actually understands me, and this
Hmm.
not only with bosses, it's not only with clients, it's not only with prospects, it's with everyone. Like, just people just say a lot, but sometimes what they really mean is something
Small.
way more simple,
Yeah.
which actually reflects how they're feeling, what they are, thinking about, like, because sometimes it's just reading, how they say, between lines. Is that how you say it, right?
Yeah, really in between the lines. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
out of 5 words or 15 words, it might just be 2 words that are important.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. What about the word labeling? I don't know if you know labeling. Like something I read, I came across the power of one of the ways active listening, labeling, and being empathetic. You get right, empathy, having
Yeah.
empathy for during sales is gonna be my next question too, but like labeling, like it's when someone says, "Oh, I'm afraid of working out because this happened." So now you want to label that and give it back to them and say, "It seems like you don't want to do this because you are afraid of working out. Is that true?" You get right. So the way you put it helps make the customer not to feel like I don't really know the right, but like do you use labeling in your in your field as sales?
Can you elaborate a little bit more? I want to understand. I'm not that familiar with the concept, so I would love
Labeling,
to.
yeah. So it's basically saying what they said back to them,
Yeah,
but in a way where it doesn't feel like you are deciding it for them. You get
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah,
still giving them the power to decide it. So it's like if they say, I don't have the money to buy it. So instead of you to say, okay, you don't, you're saying, okay, you say like, okay, I see you're not buying this because it seems like you're not buying this because you don't have the money to buy it. You get right?
yeah,
And then they say, oh, yes, that's what I mean. You get it? Like trying to understand them more and, you know, giving what they said back to them,
yeah.
but in a
Correct.
very, very more polite manner.
Yeah, that's a good way to. That I didn't know you like it's called labeling, but yeah, like we use it a lot because that's the way how the other person can feel understood, but
Understood,
also
yeah.
with that like labeling back that you're giving to them. They're feeling understood, but also you are directing it in the direction that you want it to
You
go.
want it to go, yes.
So for instance, what you said, like, okay, so the problem is that you don't have money right now. Okay, so you're saying you don't have the money for it, but you recognize that this is an important, so if you would have the money,
Would
is that
you?
something would you give it the priority to?
Yes,
And it's like,
yes.
yeah, of course, the problem is the money. Okay, so what about if I tell you that I have a financing option for you in which you don't need all the money now, but we can, it's just giving the solution to the real problem that they might
Mm-hmm.
have. Maybe the problem, the money is not the problem, or maybe it is, but that is your job to discover what is the real problem. And another technique that you can add to it, to labeling, it's mirroring. Is a more psychology like trick or tactic, which is if the other person is speaking very enthusiastic, so you can mirror that tone of communication,
Energy.
energy, and then the other
Yeah.
people feel like, I'm vibing with this
You're
person,
vibing with you. Yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
or if he's talking slower, then you
Floor.
just manage your tone just to become slower, and then this person can, it's just the way how you manage your timing is your or if the other person is just like me that love doing this, and
Yep.
then you also do like,
You
oh,
also do.
but in a natural way, then that people will feel like, for like, unconsciously more like easy to connect to the other person. So that's something
Mm.
that sometimes work too. My recommendation is find your voice, let it speak through yourself, and then all these tricks and everything that you have learned is going to become something natural for you, and
Yes.
it's just start like flowing.
I love that. I love that. So, what differentiates, okay, a successful sales manager from a regular sales manager? Or this is not even a sales manager, but like what differentiates a successful sales guy from a regular sales guy?
Okay, so I think that my answer for that, it would be like treating yourself and your team as the way how you treat your clients, because that's what makes yourself a good salesperson, because you are really keen to help people. And
Yeah.
if your team feels that you are trying to helping them to be their best version in sales or in life,
Yeah.
so you're giving them the right tools, you're listening to their real problems and say like, okay, this might be able to help. What about if we try this? Then they feel like, oh wow, this manager is actually, he's caring about me. He's not caring about the numbers of the team, which is also is
Mm.
part of your goals and that's your job. But then
Yes.
the way how you get there is not through saying like, we need to do more
We need
sales,
to.
so let's do 20 or 30 more calls a day, like some people takes that approach. I'm not there. I am the kind of person that's you really, because each person is their own war, and each salesperson are going to have their different challenges, their different skill sets that you can actually maximize and focus on. So being more like personal in the way how you treat your team, and in that way everyone will feel understood and they will feel like vibing and going in the same direction. So like
Mhm.
make it like a this sense that as a good leader, it's not like you are the boss and the rest of them are here, but instead
Yeah.
like you're part of the group, and like, okay, so let's be more strategic how we all can get there. And that's how you can make things happen, because you are not just being selfish about thinking about your goals, but you're like also caring, because it's normal. They know that you're the sales manager and
Mm-hmm.
that you wanna hit the quota, right? And the
Yep.
same as a salesperson, they know that you want to get the sales. Like it's no like a secret for them, like and as a good salesperson, I want to get the sales
Sales,
done.
yeah.
So that's something that is going to happen naturally if you focus on helping others, but also because they know that they're going to be helping you back, and that's how you get it done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So do you have like any mentor like that you and I know you said your in-law, your girlfriend's father is one, but like do you have any sales mentors that you look up to and you learn from, you know?
Well, something that I really love about sales is that this is a big opportunity for me to meet other people, right? And
Mm-hmm.
because right now in my role in a digital agency, I'm talking to business owners,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. Um, so I see every call as an opportunity to learn from, the people that I'm calling. So some of them have really good successful stories or have made some big mistakes. So what I try to do is learn from them, directly on sales. Like every entrepreneur have a skill set for sales. So I try to learn from them. And what I do a lot is on YouTube and LinkedIn. There is some people that I follow, and I see their material. I think you need to be very, how do you say, selective with the content
Information
and the
that
information
you
that you
get.
receive and that you
Yeah.
internalize, because not
Yeah.
everything might be compatible
For
with who you
yes.
are,
Mm.
so but you can take the best of it, and then taking the best out of it then is gonna bring value to you too. And so I have a lot of mentors, and not everyone have exactly is who I want to be, because maybe there is no future Marvin. I'm building
Yeah.
it,
Gotcha.
but
Gotcha.
I can get the skill or this tactic or this strategy from this person and make
Mm-hmm.
it mine, and make it
Mm.
mine through my own style. So right now, if I have a doubt, sometimes I even still call my John, who is my father-in-law, or like my girlfriend's dad, who is how he's want to be called. Yeah. So, so yeah, I have a lot of mentors. So, but what I do is, right now, internet is your biggest friend.
Yeah.
There's so much material there. You need to be smart enough to know what you get, like what you gonna read, and what you're gonna take notes, and what you're gonna just ignore, because no everything that is out there is what you want.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thanks for so yeah, we're gonna like the same, man. We're gonna like the same, the YouTube and self-help, like, learning has helped me a lot even in my field. You get it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm also very picky on the informations that I take because I believe in the power of words and, things that come into you, So I'm very, very picky with that. So that's really that's really cool. Now, my next question is how do you stay motivated? You've been doing this for I don't know how many years now. You started off from just the basic level and now you are the sales manager. From all this time with all the no's you've had, different bosses, make 75 calls, cold calls and all that, like what still keeps you motivated to still be doing sales and going further?
Well, that's very, very important, because it doesn't only apply for sales. I think for every industry, every career,
Yep.
it's just having the big picture of your life.
Mm,
How I said, you might have some goals, right? Everyone has
mm-hmm.
some goals, and those goals are not gonna happen just from one day to the other. Like, if you want to be a future, a CEO of a big, big company,
Yeah.
you're not gonna become that CEO by not having your own business, or not by learning the right skill set from, like, working for other CEOs and having a mentor, right? So
Yeah.
what do you have to do? It's like understanding, okay, if I wanna reach this point, this level, this, whatever it is, I need to have this skill set. So one of that skill set for me is sales. It's not only sales. There's a lot of other stuff that I want to
Yeah.
learn about psychology, um, also keeping your body fit, like, you're keeping healthy,
Yeah.
your mental health, like, like, if there's different things that you need to learn about, project management, like, how managing your team, all these kind of skills that you need to learn.
Yeah.
You need to do the job to learn them.
To
It's
learn
not going
them,
to
yeah.
happen magically
Overnight, yeah.
overnight. Exactly. So that happened to me with sales. So I really want to be a top sales person, like global level. So I know that's not going to happen like overnight, how you said. So I start from an SDR, then I went from an SDR, to a team lead salesperson, and then I went to manager, sales manager, and I'm gonna keep growing from there,
Mm-hmm.
and not only just focus on sales. I'm gonna be learning at the same time about different skills that I need to develop, because that's the way how I see it, and the way how I keep motivated. I really think is having this big picture that I know that this little no, it doesn't really mean anything to the what I
Big
want to
yes.
achieve, you know.
Yeah.
So and it's like people think that success is just you know, like or you could be a career, but no, it's more like this, like, you know, it's just go growing, but it's gonna be up and down, and every time you're gonna be better what you were 1 month before, because you have learned so much. So keep yourself motivated by thinking like, okay, I know where I'm going, but also
Yes.
I'm enjoying the learning process,
Process.
because that's extremely important. Learning process is everything. It will never stop, so you better like it.
I love that. I love that. So, knowing where you're going and also just learning as much as you can as you go. Like you already have a big picture right there, big goal to be the number one guy, but also knowing that right now is important too. Whatever that happens right now, there's a reason it's happening. So trying to learn that, I definitely agree with you on that one, man. I agree with you on that one. So as a sales manager, how do you balance the needs of the sales team and with the goals and objective of your organization? You get right. So like we talked
Yeah,
about before, like sometimes they're tired,
yeah.
and you go, we have to get those numbers. How do you do it so you don't over push them, but at the same time too, you don't over pamper your sales team?
Yeah, no, I agree on that. It's difficult to find that balance. But I said everyone have different skill sets, right?
Yeah.
And you know your quota, and you know that then it's important to know the numbers behind everything you do, because one thing
Mm-hmm.
is, yeah, being a big motivator and being a good leader and everything, but also
Mm-hmm.
you need to understand that sales at the end of the day is a game's number, is a, yeah,
Numbers
game
game.
number of games, yeah.
Yeah.
um and the way how you do that is just, okay, so this person needs to, you know, create this, need to have, I don't know, 40 calls to have a good one. So okay, so that person needs to be aware that and that if he wants to do less calls, then he need to put more in, like, efforts into learning more about a specific skill, so he can reduce that, but he's still
Yeah.
happy, but he's still like
Yes.
fulfilled in his quota.
Yes.
So
Yes.
and I think that we come here to learn, like, to life, to learn, and like, I think the society or the system is made to make us believe that we are competing against the others, right?
Yes,
But
sir.
you're really the only person that you really care competing against is to yourself, and it's to your old version, because you want to be
Yeah.
better. So
Yeah.
when you made that statement to your team, then you
Mm-hmm.
understand that they're not really competing. Yeah, it's always good on sales like this, you know, being the top
Top
salesperson,
just
because
yeah.
but the motivator should be about themselves, not about beating the others, about like, yeah, I wanna do my best, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the way how you keep them motivated, but at the same time you also caring about the numbers and they are aware of it. It's not
Mm.
like they don't understand the game. They need to
Mm-hmm.
understand, because if they want to grow, they also need to understand the game. If they want to be supervisors, if they want to be managers of, you know, like, it's necessary for them to understand, interiorize, and see that it's no you trying to be a bad manager, or like pushing
Yeah.
them too much, or like,
Yeah.
of course, um it's about pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. And I
Yeah.
think that some managers are not happy with that, or their strategy to do that to their team, it's not the best, because then they will feel demotivated, because they will think that, oh, I'm not good enough what I'm doing. No, if you communicate your idea in that way, I think that's not the right mindset for your team. Your team need to be motivated to be then like their best version and the best salesperson that they can be. It's not gonna happen overnight, and they know that, but they need to do the work to get where they want to be. No, and that's the way how you start being more strategic and also human, and that's the way how you and your team can grow. You can learn from them, and and that's how you can, you know, achieve your sales goals.
I love that, man. I love that. I love that. So we're still talking about the team. What kind of people do you work with? Like, what kind of people do you want on your team? When you look for, what are some things that you look forward to in people? Like, for me as a trainer, okay, I love people that understand pain. You get right? I
Yeah.
love people that knows that, yes, pain is fun. Like, this person is like, okay, I understand. Like, I don't have to explain what pain is for you, because if I have to keep explaining what pain is for you, we're
Yeah,
never going to get to where we're going to. But I want people that love pain, that know that I need some level of pain in my life to be the new version I am. So when they go through that pain, they don't complain. You get,
yeah,
right? That's me. That's
yeah.
people I love to work with, the people I choose to work with. And if you don't know pain, it's very difficult for me to, work with you, because pain is a must in this business. So
Yeah.
in your business, like, what are some qualities that you look forward to in your team, people that you work with, what are those qualities that you look for, that you care about, people you work with?
Well, really interesting about pain because I mean I love going to the gym too, and it's difficult to reach that barrier, like, and then when you actually understand the game and then you are back home and you are actually in pain and you're like, this actually feels good, you're
Yep.
getting back, like
Yeah.
that's necessary. So in the sales case, I would say that for my way of how I am, first I need to believe that they're good people.
Mm-hmm.
They're trustful. That's something
Mm.
extremely important. For instance, that happened that there was this team member that basically they were good, extremely, the way how they sell themselves during the
Yeah.
interviews and everything was really good, really good skills, skill set. But
Yep.
then when he was performing, some few things that he mentioned, he has no idea about it. So I was like, well, that's my biggest red flag, like, because then you are not being trustful to yourself. And I mean, I know
Mm.
that in interviews people always sell themselves in a
So
good way, which is extremely
yeah.
important for a sales department. But if you are like directly lying, you can sell in a good ways your skills, but still, like, it's true, right? It's like,
Yeah.
but if you are directly lying, for me, that's a big red flag. And I don't want
Mm.
liars in my team because I don't
Team.
want that kind of salesperson in
I
my team.
know, I know, I know, I know.
The other
Uh,
thing, I want people who can handle rejections, people who are not going to take it
ooh,
personal,
yeah,
people that understand that that's part of the game, and the people
yeah,
that can take it, like, if you're going to receive no's, it's fine. That's, you're going to
mm,
be learning from them, and
mm,
that's part of your growth. And last one, I would say people that is competitive with themselves, like they want to be their best version, that they see like, okay, I'm in sales because yeah, I love money, and that's gonna be part of your of your gain, is that's what you're gonna get from doing
yeah,
a good job. But also they understand the value of being a better salesperson in their life, because
gotcha.
they wanna develop that skill, and they wanna be better at whatever their plan is, because they don't want to be a salesperson the whole career, but they know that they need to
Mm,
develop that skill. So that's basically what I like look on a team, like people that I can trust them,
yep,
people
I can handle rejection.
can handle rejection, they will
They're
understand
competitive
that,
with themselves,
and that they are competitive. Yeah,
and they're good in
that's
sales. Yeah, I love that. Like, the qualities you said here. If you can have these people, you don't have to, they already. No, you don't have to like explain rejection to them. You get right. They naturally can handle rejection. They wake up and they're competitive. Yesterday I did two, today I gotta do three. You understand, right? If they naturally come with this, there's no way the team is not gonna grow. You get it, right? But if
yeah,
you have to wake up and be telling people every day that, hey man, you have to be trustworthy, you have to be this,
yeah.
it's a pain in there. It's a pain in there.
It's
Yeah.
more about the soft skills, because
Mm,
the skills that you need for sellers, like scripts, about handling objections. As a manager, that's my job, to help them to get there and develop those skills. But the soft skills are way more difficult to develop. Like, it's not really much I can do about it. So that's why I really care more about the soft skills. That then the rest we can work it out. Like, yeah, you might
yeah.
you might not have the best like, handle objections, or but if you, every time that you get an objections, you get depressed, and then you don't want to do the next goal, which can happen, and then we still can talk about it and can, like, do our best, because I understand that not everyone is gonna feel in the at their best
Yeah,
every
every
single
day.
day. I don't
Yeah.
feel like that either.
Me too.
And it's okay, and we understand that,
Yeah,
but then in the long run, the soft skills is what is gonna make you the person that you want to be.
I love that. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So how do you ensure that your sales team is your sales team is able to meet the needs of your customers and provide exceptional service and support?
Well, there's just some more like managing strategies, which you can be with them on call sometimes. Then
Mm,
you can have quarterly reviews from clients directly from them. So you can have like a track of how they're feeling with their role themselves, how they're performing with the services that they're providing, how customers are feeling about them, and the best way how you can understand how somebody's doing as a whole, as a company. People is going to be talking about it every time that a client talk to me and they recommend and say like, oh, this person did a fantastic job.
mm,
Then I know that, this is a really good, or maybe on a Google review they mentioned somebody, they're doing a good job, like, it's there's no, that's not the only way,
yeah.
but it's good to have strategies to keep, and also, something extremely important, have weekly meetings, in which you can talk about the general goals of the company and how everyone is feeling, how everything is going on projects, delivering stuff. But you should have also a sales meeting. It can be one-on-one or as a
Hmm.
sales department. It really depends on the case. You should, being able to manage your team however you feel it's right, and how understanding them different needs, how they feel more comfortable. There are some people that might feel more comfortable talking directly to you,
Yeah.
so other people can feel more comfortable talking as a team. So, having like weekly meetings, usually for us is on Fridays, and then after that, quarterly reviews where you have yourself, um, you will like task yourself about how you're feeling, how do you think you did it, and what can you improve, and then also my input on it, like, and then we can, based on that meeting, then be like,
Hmm.
okay, for the next quarter, what we can do different, or what we can, so we know that we need to focus on these skills or in this strategy, maybe
Yeah.
managing better your CRM, or maybe having a better flow of calls, or maybe do more, how do you call it, the in your schedule, like the booking, this part you're gonna lock it just for sales, sorry, for calls, or this one is just for emails, like it depends of, because not everyone works in the same way. So
Yes,
as a
sir.
manager, what you need to have is an open minded of understanding their needs,
Hmm.
so how they can do best their job,
Better.
and then all the team is going to do better, and you're going to be doing better too.
I love that. I love that. So how do you develop a sales mindset that focuses on creating value for your customers rather than simply pushing your product or service on them?
I think the way how you do that is to, understanding your clients, and having, like, that's your main goal. It's just, I want to help them. I need to find the way how I can do it.
Help
So
them.
through asking yourself that question, then you
Yeah.
will find the ways, and you're gonna try, because the first response is not gonna be probably the right one. So you need to
Yeah.
find the way, like, okay, so how can I help them? So, what I recommend you for, like, for instance, having a 10 top questions that will make them really think about what they need, and that's going to give you some, hints and clue to give you the better options, and always keep professional, like, keep it professional. You can be
Hmm.
yourself but still
Yeah.
be a professional, and that's the way how you ensure that your sales strategy is going in the right direction, because you're going to achieve your goals, but also
Yeah.
you're going to be providing an exceptional service.
Service.
Oh, don't forget about keep in touch with the operational part.
Yeah.
That's something that's actually, it's good that you ask this, because that happened to me, that initially, I didn't know much about marketing and stuff. I was just caring about selling, and I know the
Mm-hmm.
services, what we can do, and everything, but then I did the sales and that's it. But then when you actually understand that the value that your team is producing, for instance, something that I recommend, and now is part of our in our company sales strategy, is that each new salesperson will need to work in the operational part of it, helping them, even though that's not their expertise. They need to
Yeah.
help them, like, so they understand the amount of work that every service that you're gonna be selling, like, actually somebody needs to do it, and it's a lot of work. So and also you understand at time, like when you're selling, so you know indeed like what you're selling, the way like the product,
The
all the
products,
different
yeah.
details that maybe
Yeah.
you didn't know before. So that's
Yes.
going to help you in your sales process, but also at the same time you will know that what you are like promising to your clients, then you need to deliver. So you need to keep in touch with the operational part, be on top of everything, that what you promised and what you sold is what you are
Yes.
actually going to deliver. So that's how you keep balancing quality, and that's going to provide, all the different like the checklist that you need to grow. So excellent customer service, excellent sales strategies,
Yeah.
also excellent products and services, and
Yeah.
that's how, there is no reasons for you to not grow if you are ticking off all of this list of like, as a company as a whole, you need to provide.
Guys, that's great. I remember when I had a sales job once after school when I graduated, and I was out there making sale of a product that I didn't even know what it was. I just literally I crammed the pitch and just go out there and was just speaking in them because I didn't know the product, I didn't even have passion for it. People could tell that, I had no clue. They asked a question outside what I crammed. I'm lost.
Yeah,
I'm,
that
I'm lost, man. So, it's just like you said, they have to work in the operational, sector too, and this might not be, it might just be the product. You have to know the product you're selling out, know the product so much that you can break it out, fix it, and all that, and because that's key right there.
become an expert is extremely important
Hmm.
for any kind of sales you do. Like,
Yeah.
if you really want to not sound like a salesperson that's you're getting paid just to sell a script, you need to become an expert of what you're selling. You need to
Yeah,
you really need to like, in everything that you're saying, you need to demonstrate that you know what you're talking about,
for
otherwise
real.
people won't trust you. So that's one
Mm,
of the biggest recommendations. So before you call somebody, I mean, initially that's not going to happen, and as
yeah.
a selling chiropractic supplies, I had no idea about anything about billing, about like the actual, like, health sector, and like how I help your body and everything, but I have
Yeah,
to learn it. So when I told you that at the beginning, I was, what I have to do at night, study about sales skills, but also I was studying about
the
all the different
product.
products, all
Yeah,
the like specifications, how it's affect different patients, and why we're better than the competition. Something extremely important that probably I missed to like to say before, like, you need to understand your differentiator as a company, as a product, as a service, and then through selling that differentiator, then people will like understand that you are an expert, because you understand not only your product or your service, but also the industry and why that solution is better for you. Because after understanding, like, oh, this person cares about it. Okay, so this is why we're better than the competition, because this that you care so much
so
about,
much about it.
this is what we're doing. And then you're like,
Mm,
you know, the best way to sell something is that you explain it so well that it makes sense to everyone. Like, there is
guys.
there is no reasons to do it. Like, it's not like, oh yeah, it's maybe a little bit more pricey, but it makes
Yeah.
sense. It makes sense because look, there is more
Look,
pricey because of this and
this
this.
and this. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I
it
love
needs to make
this.
sense to everyone, and that's
Mm,
that's 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 the best way to sell it. So for make that happen, you need to be
yeah.
an expert. You need to
Yep.
be a good person, because they need to trust you. You need to understand your prospects, and then that's the way how it's gonna make sense. The best
Yes.
way to do it, it has to make sense to everyone, and everyone
Everyone.
needs to be happy. So you know that I'm doing my job, and also you're doing your job your best, and I'm gonna help you to do your job your best. So
Mm.
that's my biggest recommendation.
I love it. Like I could tell you a sale expert because you made this so understandable for me. Like you have said, and I love this point you brought up. It just came naturally to you. Like it just really amazing that you know this thing and you're just filling me with so much information. I hope my listeners are enjoying this. Like,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know, it's amazing. So like Marvin, we've come a long way today, you know, from just a friend referred me to you, and today we even the main thing we actually met for, it didn't even happen, you understand, right?
Exactly how we said before.
Yeah, but because you truly care about me and what I do, like, you know, you gave me this chance to do this podcast with you, and this is something that I take very, very to my heart. Like, you understand, like, you know, so it's I really appreciate you, brother, for, you know, coming on the podcast and sharing so much information, for doing this with me. I really do appreciate it, man. Thank you, Marvin.
No,
Thank you.
thank you for giving me the opportunity. I really, love the old concept of sharing people's stories. I watched the podcast from with our friend Salome and
Yeah.
some other ones, and just people is just giving so much value that I honestly was learning so much from them. So I feel very happy that you have this goal of, like I know that you're learning yourself too, but also
Yes.
sharing it and make it
Yes.
like a like available for people out there. That's amazing, and I really appreciate it too, and I'm sure that we're gonna stay in touch as friends, because hopefully I will be there visiting you too, and
Yes.
we'll have the chance to maybe work out together.
Work out
You
together
never.
and do a live one-on-one. You know,
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that, man. So,
yeah,
you
me
know,
too.
I have a few more questions before we go. So, looking ahead, okay, what are some of your goals and aspirations as a sales manager, and how do you plan to continue growing and developing in this role?
Well, as a whole, I really am still figuring out. I know I want to be a top salesperson,
Yep.
global level, but a little bit deeper there. I also want to be an entrepreneur. I want to be a coach. Like there's still so many things that I need to develop to get there.
Yes,
So
sir.
right now, I'm enjoying my present, which is developing the right skills and getting be a more consultative type
Yes.
of salesperson.
Yes, yes.
um, I work in the US market from Colombia. I want to be able to, make a lot of money too and grow economically with my partner,
Partner, yeah.
and like all the like common goals that we all have. So right now I don't really have a certain question about it. I'm enjoying the process. I might be looking for opportunities with as a consultant for big companies too, like like maybe help them from outside different sales department from for corporations, and given this value of a more human approach to sales, because that's what I like doing. Like it's who I am, and that's what I want to promote. I don't want to promote the kind of sales that they just care about the outcome. I want to
Yes.
promote the kind of sales that they care about the human that they're talking to, that they
Mm.
understand that they all are going to benefit out of the operation, and that's what I want to do. Yeah, make a better word. I know it sounds so hippie, but I want to
Mm.
help my the salespeople that I can coach, not only to be a better salesperson, but also be a better human being. That's
Yes.
that's the most important part for me.
Yes, that's amazing. That's really amazing. It's a very beautiful goal to, you know, it it's like everybody, if everybody had the same mindset like you do to be a better salesperson, a better person first, you get it, right, and then apply that to sales. I have the same mindset of being a better person and then applying it to fitness, and then someone else have the same mindset, and we all put it into our different endeavors. I think the world would be a better place, you know.
Yeah,
And yep.
I agree, 100%. That's all what is it about,
That's
and it's against, and it would be a happy world too, because
yeah.
we wouldn't be so rude to each other. We would be,
Mm-mm.
more open to
Mm-mm.
collaborate. That's
Yep.
what you're doing. Love that, and be more like feel more like a community. That's something
Community.
that
Yeah.
we're missing, and I think that at least I cannot change the world, but I can change my community with the way how I affect people around me, and that's
Yes.
what I try to do. And I think this is an invitation for all of the audience, that if you can make somebody else their life a little bit better by supporting them, by just smiling to them, by saying hi,
Yes.
um, it doesn't take off anything from you. You're giving value to them, and I'm sure that you will feel like that make me also feel better to myself. So that's my biggest advice: be a good person and try to help as much as you can. You're gonna benefit out of it too. And in the big picture, I know that your influence is gonna be massively for. You don't know how you can impact other people, so do your
Yes.
best.
Yes. You too, man. Kevin, like, I mean, Marvin, you don't even know how this conversation we just had has influenced my life too. And I don't know how many lives it's gonna influence, but even if it's one life, you have influenced my life, and that
And
means
that's more than enough.
that's
And
more than enough, you
yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It makes me very
So
happy.
thank you, sir. So my last question is okay, what advice would you give to someone who is just starting out in the sales management role and looking to build a successful career in this field?
Okay. I would love to just give it in sales, like in general.
Yeah.
I think how we say initially, sales is an extremely important skill.
Yes.
Everyone should develop this skill if they want to be successful because they will need to sell their ideas. So again, meditate, have a bigger picture of what you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
um, and understand, okay, I have this sense of where I want to go. So do like an assessment. If I want to be here, what I need to do to get there. So you will break down into, okay, so I need to learn about more about the product that I'm selling. Okay, I need to know more about handling objections. I need to know more about managing my CRM and start working on those little one by one, because people get overwhelmed when they say like, oh my god, I have to do everything. So when you need to focus on something, just forget about the rest and work on that, but don't forget about the big picture that is gonna give you the sense of direction. So you need to be smart of to know where and when do you focus on specific things, and when
Mm-hmm.
and where do you focus on the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I would say, that's my biggest advice.
Amazing. Amazing. Great advice. Great advice. Not just because, like I always say this, you wear your trousers one leg at a time. You don't wear it, you don't just put your legs in both of them. You understand, right? So,
Yeah, correct.
yeah, but the goal is to wear the trouser, but we gotta wear it one leg at a time.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you,
correct.
thank you, thank you. And then, lastly, how can people, you know, reach out to you? How can people be part of your community? How can people support you? How can people connect with you? Social media, whatever, how can people meet Marvin?
Yeah, for sure. I would love to. I'm trying to be more active on LinkedIn. I'm very busy, so I'm trying to left those skills behind. But on
Mm.
LinkedIn, you can find maybe you can just leave it on the description. But Marvin Vivas Rodriguez, that's my very Colombian name. And you can reach out to me over there if you need any help with your sales team or just as a salesperson, or with digital services. We have a very professional team that I'm sure that
Yeah,
I would love to, give you a presentation of to understand more your story and see how we can help you. So feel free to reach out to me. I usually have Instagram, but I decide to delete it temporarily. It was taking so much time, so decide to get away from there. So, but
gotcha.
LinkedIn is a good way where to start, and then we can just manage to find a time to have a meeting or just a call, and that's it. Or you can also call me directly to my company's phone, which is 857-365-1076. And just to connect to the sales department, it's gonna be the option one, and I'm gonna be there 100%.
Yes. Okay, Marvin. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, my friend, for coming on the podcast and blessing us with your knowledge. It's been an amazing, amazing run. Like literally, you have explained to us what it takes to become an expert in sales. And I love it because you spoke about a lot of skills and qualities that people in sales, I mean, not just people in sales, we need to sell ourselves the right way. We talked about listening carefully, you understand, right? Listening actively, thoroughly listening to whoever that you're with, being there in that moment. We talked about being a good person in general, you get right? You do good, you get good back. Life doesn't cheat on anyone, you know.
Yeah,
Do
correct.
more than you were paid for, you know. You shared relationships of how you helped my friend Salome and some other people too, and how that has also, you know, got it given back to you in return. We talked about um empathy, you know, putting yourself in the shoes of your clients. We talked about knowing your product. That's like the number one and the most important thing. We talked about dealing with no's and always knowing that behind that no, there's a big yes coming,
Yeah.
you know, in sales. And no is something that I feel we hear every day. And some of us take no personally, you know, and you talked about that too. Don't take it personal. Just know that, you know, they said no because at that moment or at that time they weren't feeling, you know, right. They didn't tell you no, they just said no to what you're offering. You understand? Maybe they
Yeah,
don't need it,
exactly.
you know. So
Yeah.
you talked about that. So many things you talked about, and trust me, it was very informative. I really appreciate you for, you know, taking your time and you know, coming on the podcast all the way from, you're still in Colombia, right?
Yeah, right now I'm actually
Right now.
in Bogota. This is not my house. This is my cousin's house. I came
Gotcha.
here to present an exam, an English certification.
Yep.
I'm waiting for the results. So all of you wish me luck.
Hey man, you got this. You don't even need this luck. You're blessed, man. You got this.
Thank you. I've
You're
always
gonna,
been blessed.
yep, you're gonna come out with flying colors. And please let me know how to when you get the result, please let me know,
Of
okay?
course, of course, of course.
Yes, and my listeners, thank you so much for my amazing listeners. Thank you so much for your time and listening to this man. He just left his LinkedIn handle. I'll put it in the description. Let us support him. You know, he's all the way in Colombia, but they have a very amazing marketing company, you know, that will help build your brand as, you know, whatever you do, you know, social media influencer, you know, website, all that. They build a full brand for you, you know, from videos to everything. So this is someone that I 100% recommend you guys to work with. No, like trustworthy. We've heard him talk about how much he loves what he does. He does passion, everything. I bet on him, you understand, right? I am also looking forward to working with him in the future. And also, you know, one day Marvin is going to be in the United States and we can all hang out and still have some more conversations. So
A hundred
thank you.
percent.
Thank you so much, Marvin. And guys, have an amazing week. Remain blessed. Peace.
Thanks.
Yes. Oh, man.
Wow, that was
Wow, that was
amazing. Lucky. That was great. Thank you so much for
yo,
inviting me.
no, you nailed it, man. You really do this, bro. You really do this.